Coming up on today's show, General Motors says that LG Energy has fixed all of its cell production issues and new batteries for the Bolt EV and Bolt EUV are finally rolling off the production line. Lucid Motors says it's going to make more Dream Edition cars to celebrate its new range record, and the NTSB gets upset with Tesla over its full self-driving system. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. It's been another very busy week and we've got a lot of news to cover, so let's get on with it. This show is sponsored by the Electric Auto Association. Stick around until the end of the show to find out how joining the EAA can help you finance your own clean energy or transportation purchase. We are starting today with some good news for owners of the Chevrolet Bolt EV and Chevrolet Bolt EUV. At the start of the week, a few days after all 1,500 Cadillac Lyriq models that it had allocated for 2022 production were snapped up in a few minutes, GM announced that its battery supplier LG Energy has fixed all of the production issues it believes were at the root cause of Chevrolet Bolt EV fires. Production has already begun, and GM says replacement batteries for customers' cars will begin to arrive at dealerships in October. However, given how many Bolt EVs need to have their battery packs swapped, more than 140,000, the majority of affected owners will likely be waiting for a while for a new pack for their car. Sorry. Polestar, the all-electric performance arm of Volvo, has confirmed that it's working full steam ahead to get its Precept electric car ready for production before 2025. While Polestar is originally a Swedish brand, now owned by a Chinese company, and China is where its Polestar 2 is made, it has a research and development hub in the UK, where the Polestar Precept will begin its transformation from auto show concept car to production-ready vehicle. And in order to expedite that journey, Polestar has just confirmed it will double its UK team from 250 to 500 staff. That expansion is nothing to sniff at, especially since Polestar is a far smaller automaker than many of the brands it's chasing. Looking forward, the Precept design is expected to influence the design of the Polestar 3, an EV which will share its platform with the next generation all-electric Volvo XC90 and which will be built in the US. As more and more automakers have announced their intent to switch to a zero tailpipe emission future, more and more are turning their attention to procuring enough batteries to make those plans a commercial reality. The majority of automakers have realized the only way to do that is to follow Tesla's lead and bring battery production in-house, working with partner companies, much like Tesla has done, to produce gigawatt hours of batteries at jointly owned facilities. And this week, Mercedes-Benz announced that it is purchasing a stake in the Automotive Cells Company, a European battery cell manufacturer launched last year by Stellantis and Total Energies to produce EV battery cells for use by European automakers. The three co-owners say that they will invest more than €7 billion in the franchise to produce at least 120 gigawatt hours of cells for Europe by the end of this decade. I think it's a great start, but at least double that is really needed to transition everyone to electric. Tesla has announced a new Autopilot update that it says will improve emergency vehicle detection at night. According to Tesla, the new code rolled out in a recent Model 3 and Model Y OTA update will cause a Tesla operating in Autosteer mode to slow down when it detects lights from an emergency vehicle ahead. It will display a message on the touchscreen to inform drivers of the slowdown, and when emergency vehicles have been either passed or are no longer visible, it will resume your set speed. Some folk have suggested that this update is a response to several well-documented and well-investigated cases of Teslas operating in autopilot mode appearing to crash into the back of emergency vehicles stopped on the public highway, but as other outlets have commented, at this time it seems the update is focused on nighttime operation, so could be a more generic feature update ahead of full FSD rollout. In last week's show, we announced that Lucid had officially become the longest-legged electric car on sale today, based on range per charge after achieving an official EPA rating of 520 miles, 837 kilometers for the Lucid Air Dream Edition range. Some of you questioned that since you noted the car wasn't on sale yet, but as we note in the comments, an EPA range rating is required before sales can begin, so chicken meet egg. But this week, in celebration of its new position at the top of the range charts, Lucid announced it would be making more Lucid Air Dream Edition ranges to celebrate. Only available as a launch edition car, Lucid had planned to make just 500 examples, but now says it will make 520 because that's the range in miles, said vehicle managers. Yes, it is very twee and feels a little forced, but hey, I and Winter will be in Arizona next week to see the production Lucid Airs firsthand, so watch this space. There is no nice way to put it. The electric vehicle world is obsessed with range, as our previous story just illustrated. But the reality is that most people don't need massive battery packs for travelling huge distances they rarely cover, and building cars like that just makes them more expensive. Which is why you might be interested to know that a BMW executive has just stated to Which Car Australia that the automaker has no plans to roll out models that go stupid far per charge. In fact, according to BMW i4 project leader David Ferrino, BMW is targeting 600 kilometres, 373 miles, as being more than enough range for its cars, with a target of 100 kilometres, 62 miles, for all plug-in hybrids in EV mode. The range is more than enough for most people in most places, and a 1,000 kilometre, 621 mile trip is easily achievable with a single 200 kilowatt, 30-minute charging stop. When buying a new car, there are few things I hope everyone look for, and crash test ratings should be at the top of your list, which is why it is great news to learn that the 2022 Volkswagen ID.4 has just been awarded the Top Safety Pick Plus by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. The US-based test agency rated the ID.4 highly across the board, with only standard headlights dropping down to acceptable. The optional LED lights scored far better. The ratings are almost the same as for those for the Tesla Model 3, the Volvo XC40 Recharge and the Mustang Mach E. And in case you missed it, our very own Winter Tashlin was lucky enough to get a few hours behind the wheel of the all-new all-wheel drive ID.4 last week, and we just published his first drive report on the channel, so check it out later. From the ID.4 to its upmarket sibling, the Audi Q4 e-tron. It's just officially launched in the US, and it has a very palatable starting price of $36,400 after government incentives. First showcased way back in 2019, the Audi Q4 e-tron has taken a while to make it to market, but with the chip shortages seemingly easing, Audi is now ready to begin deliveries in the US by the end of this year. Because it is basically the Volkswagen ID.4 in a tuxedo, it shares the same choice of rear-wheel or all-wheel drive variants, along with the same 82 kilowatt-hour battery pack choice. But because it's an Audi and it has a little more stuff on board, don't expect its range to be quite as good as the ID.4 in the real world. It might be a nicer interior, but that extra rate will impact range. Jennifer Homedy, head of the US National Traffic Safety Board, was talking to the Wall Street Journal this week about autonomous vehicle technology and had some pretty harsh words to say about Tesla's full self-driving program. Calling into question the way in which Tesla has approached the rollout of FSD Beta, Homedy said Tesla shouldn't roll out FSD Beta to a wider user base until it's addressed what the NTSB believes are deficiencies in the feature. Quote, "Basic safety issues have to be addressed before they're then expanding it to other city streets and other areas," the NTSB boss said, adding that Tesla's marketing of the technology, namely calling it full self-driving, was, quote, "misleading and irresponsible." Despite some Tesla customers being unhappy about these comments, since FSD is not fully autonomous, the driver does still have to monitor and supervise the system. But the NTSB does have a point. While many of us understand that autopilot and full self-driving aren't automatic, your average car buyer might not. Chinese automaker NIO has been busy this week, publishing teaser footage of its latest winter testing in New Zealand, as well as announcing the launch of what we think is the world's first production hybrid cell battery pack. The 75 kilowatt-hour pack, due to go into the ES8, ES6 and SC6 models from November onwards, features two different cell chemistries within the pack. There's nickel cobalt manganese for high energy density and lithium iron phosphate for lower cost and reduced cobalt consumption. NIO says the pack uses cell-to-pack design, which simplifies its manufacturing and assembly by 10%, and it also increases volume utilization by 5%. While increasing energy density by 14%. The hybrid pack also means improved low-temperature performance compared to LFP-only packs, which are known for not liking cold weather. If this pack turns out to work well, I expect other automakers to replicate this hybrid layout, so watch this space. And now it's time for short shorts. As it ramps up production plans for the F-150 Lightning and signs new supply contracts to source all of the aluminium it needs to make the all-electric truck, Ford has invested $50 million in Redwood Materials to help expand the company's manufacturing and recycling capabilities for true closed-loop battery recycling. Volvo has announced it's going leather-free in all of its electric models as part of its animal welfare ambitions. It's been working on alternative premium interiors that will replace leather, which of course also reduce the carbon footprint of its cars. Rivian has applied for a new patent that's got plenty of us scratching our heads, a new sliding door that will allow the door to slide past the rear of the vehicle, giving improved access. We don't know what it will be used for yet, so watch this space. Canadian company Electra Meccanica has announced it will begin US deliveries of its Solo EV on October 4th. The single-seat three-wheeler is fully enclosed and starts from $18,500 US. Tyre specialist Bridgestone has announced it will shift its attention to making tyres specifically for electric vehicles. As part of the shift, it will stop trying to make low-cost tyres to compete with other Asian firms and focus instead on energy efficiency. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has officially announced an initiative to develop the first wireless charging pilot project for US roads. It will see a 1-mile stretch of road in the state fitted with dynamic wireless charging tech. Workhorse Trucks has issued a stop sale for its C1000 electric delivery van, stating that it needs to carry out more tests and make more modifications in order to satisfy regulatory standards. It now says that previous statements it made about its compliance cannot be relied upon. Lotus Cars has unveiled a brand new electric vehicle architecture that it will use to underpin the range of promised models it recently announced. The platform can accommodate up to 100 kilowatt-hours of batteries and can accommodate a single or twin motor configuration. The Citroën Ami low-speed electric vehicle, designed to comply with the French sans permis class of vehicles, will go on sale in the UK after more than 12,000 Brits signed up to own one. It will be tweaked to comply with UK laws. The Georgian Acres area of Austin, Texas is celebrating the launch of new solar-powered community hubs designed to bring equitable green transportation systems to traditionally disinvested areas. It includes e-scooter and bike share programs, a mobile health clinic, food pantry, and more. The governments of the UK and the Netherlands have joined forces to call on the US and China to step up and ban the sale of new internal combustion engine vehicles by 2035. So far, neither China nor the US have set an official ban. Xpeng has been demonstrating its navigation-guided pilot system this week as its first Xpeng P5 EVs prepare to roll off their production line. A rival to Tesla's FSD Beta, the navigation-guided pilot, or NGP, uses 2 LiDAR systems among other sensors. A prototype Rivian R1T mysteriously crashed in Irvine, California after apparently missing a turn. It's not sure if the vehicle was operating in some kind of semi-autonomous mode, but the crash certainly caused quite a stir as the truck mounted a curb, went off-road, and hit several parked cars. After the successful completion of a pilot program in Southern California, Volvo Construction Equipment has officially showcased its production equipment in an event in LA. It will reach full-scale production next year. China's most popular EV, the Hongguang Mini EV, is about to get a major range boost thanks to a new battery pack upgrade. Earlier examples had either a 9 or 14 kilowatt-hour battery pack, but future models will get a 26 kilowatt-hour pack. The Royal Mail in the UK has been slowly turning its delivery vehicles electric for some time now, but now it's about to start tests of 2 smaller electric quadricycles, the Packstar Cargo and Ligier Pulse 4. They will be put into the test for the next 6 months. Rivian has announced it will be creating 100 new positions at a new service support facility in Plymouth, Michigan. Rivian has invested $4.6 million in it, and it's working with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation to develop the facility. The global chip shortage has been plaguing many of the world's major industries, but it will all end next year for the automotive industry. That's according to Elon Musk, who said that new fab plants coming online will make the crisis a short-term, not a long-term problem. Spanish bus company Belas and EV specialist Equimake plan to build a double-decker electric bus that will soon be on London's streets. Called the Dual E, it will feature a 543 kilowatt-hour pack for impressive day-long range. New rumours out of Korea suggest that Tesla is deep in discussion with electronics company Samsung about production plans for Tesla's next generation of self-driving chips. Samsung does own its own fab facilities, but we all thought Tesla was going in-house. After mocking Tesla glass roofs for falling off, Ford has now found the shoe is on the other foot after certain Mustang Mach E roofs have been falling off due to faulty bonding agents. The recall currently affects Canadian Mach Es, but I think it might expand to other markets. Mercedes-Benz has officially announced the pricing for the EQS electric sedan in North America. And interestingly, the entry-level EQS 450 Plus starts at 103 grand or so, which is actually less than the entry-level gasoline S-Class. Climate activists in Germany have filed a lawsuit against BMW and Daimler for not acting quickly enough to dump the pump. It's the first time we've seen private citizens of Germany take a company to court for exacerbating climate change. The Ford Mustang Mach E has become the first electric vehicle to pass the Michigan State Police Test, a test that gains a lot of authority among government agencies nationwide. The test covers everything from acceleration and top speed to high-speed maneuvers and emergency handling characteristics. Norway has already set itself a goal of banning all new internal combustion engine sales in the near future, but new data from the nation suggests that sales data predicts Norway could reach that point naturally by April next year. Fresh from defeating a recall attempt, California Governor Newsom has signed a new climate action bill in the Golden State. It includes new provisions for EV incentives, as well as tackling the climate crisis and protecting traditionally disinvented communities from climate change. Airbus has just unveiled its official zero-emission aircraft roadmap, unveiling a new generation of battery-electric city Airbuses. It will enter service by 2025. Meanwhile, it's also signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Air New Zealand to research hydrogen-fueled aircraft. Volocopter and Geely subsidiary Aerofugia have signed a joint venture to bring urban air mobility to China within the next 5 years. The joint venture, called Volocopter Chengdu Technology, will work closely with local authorities to electrify the skies. General Motors has announced a new range of motors that it will use in all of its Ultium-based EVs. The motors include a 180-kilowatt front-wheel drive motor, a 255-kilowatt rear-wheel drive motor, and 62-kilowatt all-wheel drive assist motor. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Automakers and auto dealers have spent many years fighting Tesla's direct-to-customer sales models, but over the last few years, we've seen more and more automakers make the switch to just that model. We've seen Ford switch to online sales for its F-150 Lightning, its Maverick and other models, and Volkswagen wants to do the same for its future models. But in Australia, Hyundai has changed its sales models mid-launch, asking dealerships to refund any deposits taken for the Ioniq 5 thus far, and asking customers instead to head to a new website to place their order there. The change in policy not only makes it easier for Hyundai to ensure customers get a consistent sales experience, but it also helps prevent price gouging, which is something the traditional dealership model is notorious for. Frankly, if I can order my phone and loo rolls online, I should be able to do the same with my car. What say you? And finally, if you are into precision driving, rallying, or just incredible automotive stunts, you'll know about the legend that is Ken Block, aka the Hoonigan, and his Gymkhana series. In the last decade, Ken's YouTube channel has shown multiple times just how truly amazing his driving skills are via a long-standing partnership with Ford that usually resulted in powerful, balls-to-the-wall internal combustion engine rally cars and performance fun. But this week, following his transition to going to a free agent, this is his words, not ours, Block announced that he's going to team up with Audi on some new all-electric projects. There's little else to share at this point, other than to say that given his history and his ability to entertain and amaze in equal measures, I cannot wait. And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Auto Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and they firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EAA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make your own switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, You'll gain access to a new clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EAA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to electricauto.org. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the bell, and do the same to our 2 other channels. That's Transport Evolved Take 2 and Transport Evolved Shorts. We'd also love it if you support us through Patreon or Ko-fi if you're so inclined. And don't forget you can buy your own TE swag at our Redbubble store. The link is in fact below. And if you're feeling chatty, don't forget to drop by our free-to-join Discord chat room. I or someone else from the team will be back soon with more video goodness, but until next time, thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!